I'm lost track now. I've lost count. I can't remember. It's like Rose the other day. We had Rose out in Hawaii,
Yeah,
and
I saw that
it was like, have I had her on before? And I'm like, yes, we have had
one. Yeah,
her. They're all good. They're all good. I enjoy all of them. I really do. It's just having a conversation.
yeah, yeah. I like
It's
that.
very engaging, and it just takes on its own life. Like I don't know where this is going, but I know it's going to be good. I don't know where it's going, but I just know it's going to be good. And I just go with you. I go with the flow.
Okay.
And I'll feed off of you, whatever something you say may, hey, that sounds intriguing. Let's revisit that.
Okay. Yeah, you're
That's all.
natural with it.
That's all. Yeah, it's just a natural conversation. Yeah, it's organic. Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Mm.
All right, here we go. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of Up Close with yours truly, Colin Thompson. Joined today by the man of the moment, our newly crowned Bermuda Day half marathon champion, and he's smiling already. Sean Trott. Sean, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Colin.
First
Really
and,
appreciate it.
first and foremost, man, I'm going to jump right into this because
Okay.
I'm still buzzing. How does it feel? First of all, congratulations.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Congratulations. You did it.
Yeah.
You finally did it.
That's an amazing feeling. I mean, I counted up, it's been 15 attempts. So this was number 15 for me. And I think I've been inside the top 10 times of those 15 and second 5 times. So it's the representation of a journey.
Definitely, definitely. And I was gonna ask you, how does it feel? Like
Yeah.
when you hit that tape, what was going through your mind?
Man, I mean, I told someone that like I didn't really know I had the victory till I got to the top of the hill by Delwood there and I made the turn. And then that last little bit, it was just taking it all in. Like this is finally here. It's finally here. I'd always just imagined that moment, but to actually feel it, something.
Yeah, I was so excited for you. I had been covering the junior race,
Yeah.
and I just finished doing my interviews and all, and I was heading back to the office, and they had this big monitor
Mhm.
on Court Street, and
Yes,
I
that's right.
and I looked up and I saw you coming. I'm like, wait a minute, he's on he's on Cedar Avenue.
Mhm.
He's almost here. So I said, I'm gonna stay here, and I'm glad I did.
Oh, really? You weren't gonna stay? Oh, wow.
I was gonna head back to the office and finish up,
Yeah, yeah.
what I had to
Well,
do
that means
because
a lot.
it's all fresh in your head, and you just want to go thrash it out. And then I looked up and I'm like, wait a minute, he's here already, pretty much. So I stayed, and I'm glad that I did because as I watched you, come approach the finish line, and then go across the finish line, that's when it struck me that this is something special. I mean, the race always produces something special, and this year was no exception,
Mhm.
with it being your first.
Yeah, that's
And I think that's what really stuck out. And I was emotional for you.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
I just lost it. I was like, hey, man, this is beautiful.
you weren't the only one. I mean, there were people reaching out, calling me the next few days, and everybody was saying they had a tear in their eye. Everybody. I mean, you had a tear in your eye. Nick Jones had a tear in his eye. I mean, everybody that was there. My wife was crying. I cried when I got home, and I really got the chance to stop and soak it all in. That's me.
I think you was in shock.
I think a
Like, you
little bit.
can't press it because you thought you was in shock, but hey, it was a beautiful moment, and to me, hey, those are the moments
Hmm.
I always cherish the most,
Yeah.
in my line of work. Watching the athlete put in the time, the sacrifice, the struggle.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And then to see him finally get across the line,
Yeah.
get to the promised land. It just takes right over, man. I just melt.
From the previous year too till now, like wow, just looking back even at last year, it was probably one of my toughest races. Coming in third, and I ended up getting sick the week of that race. I ran basically under the weather, and I kind of almost crawled into the finish, and I gotten some kind of negative feedback along the way as I was coming through town last year, and at the end, it really had me reassessing, like, is this something I really still want to do? And as I look back on it, I thought to myself, yes, this is my journey. It's not anyone else's. Um, I do this running to see how far I can challenge my own self, and I want to see how far I can take it. And I'm glad I made the decision. Come back out again.
Yeah, you never gave up.
mm-hmm.
15 attempts.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what was it that inspired you? What kept you coming back? I mean, after so many near misses,
Yeah.
were there any doubts?
Yeah, there was definitely doubts. I mean, there's always been the doubts, especially as you see some of the younger guys coming up, even seeing like Ryan and others, like you start to wonder, are these guys gonna come and pass me now too? But yeah, I think just always being that close and seeing it, you could kind of almost touch it. I was second so many times. Because like I think if I make a few tweaks here and there, I can do it. I think it's possible.
We're gonna get to those tweaks
Yeah.
in a little bit, but you kind of it was kind of like a throwback to Jay Donovan. It was like
Right.
we were living
Yeah.
Donovan's journey all over again because he had racked up a bunch of seconds.
He did, yeah.
In some areas or corners they call that the perennial brides.
Right, yeah. I was starting to get
we're not settling for this.
Right. And I take a lot of inspiration from him. I mean, he came back over and over and over, and he's been very supportive, even as, it started to look like that was something that was happening for me. He's reached out and even extended, words of wisdom to me as well. And I appreciate that. But yeah, we got
Mind you, on the flip side of it, I'll take a second any day.
Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, this is, I mean, essentially like the national championship of the who's who of running. So to take second so many times, I'm not upset about that.
So what was different in this year? What was it that got you over the final hurdle?
Yeah, like so what I do for my job is I'm an analyst, but for financial reasons I'm an analyst, but I also analyze a lot of things in life. So I looked at the last few years and I said, what could I do better? I analyzed it all and said, let's break this down. Let's change a few things. And I felt there was a few things missing in the training, so like I needed some more of that fast turnover speed work like on the track and on hills. So we put that in. I got connected with a physiotherapist who started to target some areas of weakness. I was doing exercises to really strengthen parts of my body that break down when the race gets tougher. I even looked at the footwear I wore last year. My footwear kind of broke down a bit, so I changed the shoe I wore this year. Made sure I got something that was a little better.
It's got to be the shoe.
Even the nutrition. I mean, people saw me sucking back. It was a gel pack I was taking, an energy gel this year. I switched to something that really worked for me that helps to give me the carbohydrates that I need during the race. So I dialed in on all of the areas that I knew were gonna help me to have a better race. So put all those things together, and the final product is what came together.
And I heard you say part of your strategy also was you attack the hills.
Mm-hmm.
So you really ran hard on the hills.
Yeah, that's right. And that's always been a strength of mine. So yeah, I guess looking at it strategically as well, I made sure, the last time we came out of St. George's, 2 years prior, I really got caught up in attacking the flats in St. George's early on, trying to keep up with guys and make moves a little too early. So I said, no, this year I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be measured. I'm going to wait until the hills come later in the race and really make my moves there.
So where did you first get out, ahead of the pack?
So I really felt like I was a part of the race once we turned onto Crow Hill, coming up the corner from Fracture Street there. That was where I made my first, I'd say, test, where I went and pushed to the front. And that was where we made the first real move where Ryan and I separated. So I felt like I kind of broke open the race there. And even coming up Whitney, I mean, I didn't make too much pushing forward ahead of Ryan there, but I felt like I was really pushing on that hill, and then of course the big one that really mattered was the one down there, Devonshire Church, mile 10, and that was my strategy. That big hill, I said, if anybody was still with me at that point, this was going to be the make or break for me. So I really made sure I made it count.
Right, sounds like my Christchurch Devonshire family blessed you. They're showing you the blessing because that was the turning point, the decisive break there.
It was.
Wow. So you break away there. What are you thinking now? Because I mean, you get to the front and you're thinking, am I got enough? Can I hold, my rival off? It's so much going through your head, isn't it?
Yeah. So first of all, I wasn't sure like how big the gap was at first. And then I heard people talking, telling me, it was 20 meters, 10 meters, and all different things. So rather than get caught up in that, I just said, put my head down and grind. So the downhill goes pretty hard from the top of the hill at Zebiem down there to the gas station. So I just pushed as hard as I could. Let's just keep that gap going. Um, I'll be honest, when I hit Front Street down by like Supermart, I started to actually feel the effort a bit from the big push downhill. So I focused on staying relaxed, not continuing to push quite as hard to regather because I knew Queen Street was coming up. And Queen Street, we made another go and really pushed over that hill as well. And I think that was really what opened it up.
Conditions wise, how much did the conditions factor in all this?
Um, so I know some people were really impacted by like the heat and humidity, but I've been getting out midday. I run midday quite often, and I do some of my hardest sessions then. So I feel like I was really fine tuned in those type of conditions. So I felt pretty comfortable.
Sure, the crowd is there, cheering, all the runners on. How much,
Hmm.
does that inspire you as well?
Oh man, I mean the energy from that crowd is second to none. I mean there is no race like it. I mean I went to New York Marathon last year and that was something, but there's nothing like this. I mean to hear them calling your name, there's people blowing the air horns and all of that. It's like you really can feed off that energy so much.
And like you said, it's special. It's the national title.
It's basically the national title of Bermuda, yeah, unofficially.
So you've got that first one now. I'm sure you're looking ahead to next year already.
Yeah, I guess so. We're kind of letting it settle just a
And it's going to change a bit now because
It will.
everyone's going to be coming after you.
Yeah, that's just a whole different way of looking at it. I've always kind of been looking at myself as the underdog. I mean, I still would consider myself to be the underdog. I might not have as much, natural ability, I think, as some of these other guys. I feel like I've always had to work hard to get to where I am. So I'll still be viewing myself that way, even if others might not be. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it looks next year.
Stuff. And then in terms of the course, you've done both courses.
Hmm.
Any preference?
I used to say I preferred Somerset, and I still do because of the crowd. That's my home crowd. Like I have my neighborhood at Granaway Heights in Southampton, my old neighborhood I grew up at Morgan's Road, Warwick. So I got two big crowds that really come out and support on that course. But I will say I do like the way that this hill goes with the bigger hills towards the end, so I can really maximize my strength as the race finishes. Yeah.
Right, so you gotta deliver for them next
I
year.
have to. Yeah, they probably would be expecting that more than anybody.
And I'm sure you prepare as best as you can,
Hmm.
and we'll see you on the day.
Yeah, for sure.
But you said, you in the post race, you've had a lot of well wishes.
Mm.
A lot of people who have, come forward and really, just, tell you how much they appreciate
Hmm. Mm.
seeing you, achieve this
Yeah.
success,
Yeah.
finally. What's some of the
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, there's been some really special moments for me. Like I said, people reaching out telling me that I touched them, seeing the fact that I was able to go through all of this and take the adversity and come from so many quote unquote losses to now. Um, I mean, I had a lady from my old Morgan's Road neighborhood. She came and brought cookies. She baked cookies and it was so special for me. She brought that down the day of the race, afterwards, and even my job, they're doing like a reception for me later in the week to commemorate the occasion. Um, and then my church family, of course, like they were so inspirational, and I know that they were really happy to see that I was able to bring praise to God at the end. That was something that really inspired a lot of people in the church community as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, my life is multifaceted. I'm not just a runner. I'm involved in church and of course the job that I do. So I'm seeing it in all the different places that I'm at.
interesting,
Hmm.
interesting. So this journey of yours
Yeah.
in athletics, where did it all begin? You always been into running, or did you start
Yeah,
off
yeah.
in another sport, or how did it all begin for you?
So,
It all kick off.
yeah. So I talked about church. So my church, Calvary Gospel Chapel, we used to have a picnic every June. And part of this picnic, they do all sorts of games and sports activities. And one of those was a foot race. And there was like this mile race that they would do every year. And I used to enter it, and I'll be honest, I definitely was not the most athletic of kids. Like I tried my hand at a lot of sports, football and whatnot, and I wasn't that good at it. Not the most coordinated, and as a teenager, kind of out of the blue, I kind of started to run a little bit. And one year, out of the blue, I took the win in this race and beat some of my friends who used to beat me previously. And that was like 2004. I think I was 14 years old when I first did that. And for the first few years, I kind of just focused on trying to retain this title, at this church picnics. I won like three in a row. And people kept saying, you got to kind of step outside of this. It's got to be more than that. I'll also put the caveat in that I was homeschooled for my entire life. So I wasn't really like doing the inter-school sports or any of those that type of things. So this was kind of the only place that I was showcasing that. Then later on in my like that time period of life, I was actually invited to compete in inter-school sports. I kind of expanded my horizons and I went and got like a second, I think, in the 3000 at inter-school sports. And when I was eligible to run May 24th for the first time, 16, I really procrastinated. I said, I'm going to train for the race 2 weeks before. So I did like one, I don't know, 13-mile run with a guy from my church. He was like a consistent runner. And that was pretty much it. And then I just did all these shorter runs and I ran 146, hour 46. And I tried to get in the top 100, but I think I was just outside that year. Um, and I said, okay, I want to see what happens if I do this consistently. So my parents, I really credit them a lot. They found a way for me to get involved, and I got connected with Jerry Swan, the national coach at the time, and I started to train consistently with the Bermuda team that was training up there. Um, yeah, the journey continues. I qualified for Carifta the next year. Got to represent Bermuda in 3 Cariftas in the 5,000 meters. Um, and then that expanded even further to other overseas events. And along the way, I always came back to May 24th. So that's 2007. You would have seen me come back the next year after the 146. And we ran 120. I was 11th place in 2007. 2008, I ran 119. I was 6th place. 2009, 116, 5th place. And then from there, the rest of was the seconds and the thirds, and all that came from there.
Have you had any achieved any other success? You mentioned Carifta
Mm-hmm.
representing Bermuda.
Yeah.
What
So I've achieved a few
you've managed to get under your belt?
medals. So I achieved a bronze medal. We went and competed in Cuba actually back in 2009. I did the CAC Senior Championships. I got a half marathon bronze there. The Island Games in 2011, I also got 2 bronze medals in that, in the 10,000 meters in the half marathon. Um, yeah, and I've gotten close to medaling on a few other occasions. Like in Carifta, I was 5th in the 5,000 in one of those years. So I was pretty consistent there at Carifta as well. Never got medals there, but yeah, that's pretty much the extent of the international.
So you said you used to you got invited, or
Mm-hmm.
you came under Jerry Swan,
Mm-hmm.
started training with him. Um, at what point? Question I'm trying to ask is, what point did you really say, "Hey, wait a minute, I may be onto something here"? Where did it really kick in?
Mm.
Mentally, that I've got something to work with here. Let's see where we can take this.
I think when we were in the process of trying to qualify for Carifta, and we were doing a series of track meets, and I knew I had a certain time I had to hit to qualify. And on the first go around, my first like track meet trying to qualify, I was only like a few seconds off the mark, and I was like, okay, wow, I'm pretty close to qualifying for Carifta, and I know that that's a pretty serious event for people my age. And then when I finally qualified for Carifta, it kind of sunk in, like, okay, I can really do something with this. Um, and then add to that the May 24th that year, where I was 11th place and beating some of the guys much older than me. That after that first year of doing that, that's when I was ready to really do it seriously.
He's like, "Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah,
I
we're
got
ready.
this.
We're ready. Yeah.
I got this." So, is it an honor for you? Has it been an honor to represent Bermuda?
Oh yeah, I take it very seriously every time I put on the Bermuda jersey. And yeah, I always put my best foot forward, knowing that I'm doing it for my country.
Also, you got to broaden your right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
you
I
mentioned
mean,
Cuba. Any other country?
Cuba.
What's some of
We've
the other
been
countries
all over
you
the
visited?
Caribbean. I mean, I've been to Turks and Caicos, St. Kitts. I've been to yeah, I've been to India. As far as India, I did the Junior Commonwealth Games in India one year. Been to Trinidad and Tobago for 3 occasions and done cross country representing Bermuda there. Yeah, and then of course with the island games, I've gone to Europe. We've gone to different islands over there, like the Isle of Wight and Guernsey and Gibraltar even. And so, yeah, there's a lot more places, but I've definitely seen quite a bit.
And you said you tried the football. It didn't go so well. What position did you play?
Oh my goodness, I can't even. That was so back. I was only a primary school age kid then, but
Okay.
yeah, the ball and running go together well for me.
About cricket, no cricket.
Definitely
You
not
got the
that.
build of a pacer,
Oh
pace
man,
curler.
yeah. But yeah, I think if anything, the only other sport that I was pretty good at was basketball. To be honest, I played a bit of that locally, so I could say I was pretty successful there. Yeah,
Yeah, basketball.
yeah.
What position?
I always guard.
All
I
right.
was a pretty good 3-point shooter. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Maybe maybe there's some hope for you yet.
Yeah.
Another career. You
Never
know.
know.
I
You
mean,
never
give up. Head up.
know.
You're running shoes.
Hey.
Yeah. So you actually speaking about running shoes. So you said you made a switch,
Yeah.
and we hear about gear. Now
Very important.
so much is scrutinized. In your in enhancing performance. With your kit, with you mentioned nutrition,
Yeah.
and also it really sounded like you did your homework.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we put a lot of time into looking at what I needed to do to win. And I think the big difference with the shoes was honestly the size of the sole, like the thickness. Like last year, my shoes were maybe a bit too thin, so like my feet felt the fatigue a bit more at the end. So I found something that had a bit more support and it gave me a bit more push off. I mean, these shoes nowadays are something. They've got these carbon plated shoes that you see a lot of those guys wearing, and they really help to save the energy and to really maximize the types of energy that you're putting into your feet.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the potholes had anything to do with that.
Yeah. Hey,
The pot.
I didn't hit any of those.
Thank God you did.
Right.
Yeah, because that wouldn't be nice at all.
No, not at all.
That wouldn't be nice at all. But actually, I can relate to that because I bought some shoes earlier this year,
Okay.
and they look light, and I thought, because I like to just go for jogs,
Yeah.
exercise, and I thought, yeah, they look good, this can work. And then, after I wore them, I said, you know what, they were heavy,
Yeah.
and I don't run in them. Actually, no, I don't run
Okay.
in them.
Yeah. I mean, weight makes
I'm
a
going
big
back to the old pair.
Oh man, and I mean the way that these guys, when they fit you for the shoes, even they look at things like how your arch is, and there's different shoes for different arch types. There's so many different things you got to think about when you get these shoes. So found the right one.
And you know what else I always admire about runners? And I admire the transformation your body goes through.
Mm-hmm.
Because of your nutrition regimen, your hydrating, and you see you on the day, like, you're like my pinky finger, like
Yeah, man.
straight up and down like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But
Fair
like,
enough.
I said, look at this, like, you really look like a running machine. And,
Okay.
and when I saw you come across the line, and I was like, oh my God, like it's little skin and bone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the part that comes with it. And I can't say it's for not eating. Like honestly, I probably eat like 6 meals a day. I'm always trying to like eat small meals all throughout the day to fuel my metabolism. Um, so yeah, I probably eat more than the average person, but yet I still look like that.
And you mentioned earlier also, you said that you wasn't feeling well. You was a little under the weather.
Little under the weather earlier that week. So I was managing that coming off the previous week, and honestly, that was in the back of my mind, like, man, last year I was sick on the day of the race. Please, let's not get to the line sick again. And by the grace of God, we got there that way. I mean, people were carrying me in prayer that week, knowing how I was feeling. Um, Woke up on the day and felt great. Everything was basically going. So right up till the day before, I had symptoms, right? So you never know what God's going to give you.
Also, expectations going in.
Yeah.
We know you're always a contender,
Yes.
but what were your expectations going into this year's race?
I was pretty appreciative of the way I was able to come in this year because I think largely the attention was off of me. I'll be honest, like the coverage was really focused on Ryan and Lamont and even to some extent Trey. So everybody was talking about those three in particular. I think the only one that maybe covered that and said that I was a factor might have been Bermuda. So I was really like, okay, no one's really got their eye on me. Let's we could hopefully pull off the upset, you know.
And you spoke also about Ryan earlier. You know, he represents the future,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many others, even younger than him. I mean, I had a 12-year-old this year. We had a 12-year-old win the
That's right. Yeah.
win
I
the
saw that.
the junior classic, and like obviously there's older competitors in the field, and
Mm-hmm.
he just took
Yeah.
the business.
I mean, hey, my hat goes
Wow,
off to him. I mean, he put himself right in there, and he made it tough. Like, I mean, I would say right up till that point, like, I didn't know if it was gonna happen, and I mean, he even came back on me after that move, still ate back into that lead. So he fought hard. To a lot of respect.
definitely a bright future for him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he will get it. There's no doubt about it. He's gonna get it.
It's a matter of when,
Yeah.
not if, but
Yeah.
when. And who were some of those who have inspired you along the way? You mentioned Jay
Yeah.
earlier.
So yeah, Jay's a huge
The other runners out there
inspiration.
that give you inspiration.
Kevin Smith definitely a huge one. I relate to him on two different levels in the church community and also as a runner, and he's one that's given me a lot of tips as well. Actually, part of the way that I train would be attributed to him. He's given me a lot of tips on how I train that I follow now, like how he used to train. And he's always been in my corner as well. So yeah, those two in particular would be people that I would find as sources of inspiration, people that are there. And Chris Eswanik, I mean, he's someone that also I've gotten a lot of tips from. He's always made time for me. We've gone on training runs together, and he's imparted a lot of wisdom. And he's always available to everyone. You know, he makes himself available.
Yeah, he does. He's out there giving advice,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's so great sportsmanship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great sportsmanship. And even you, I mean, I've seen some of the articles, post race, and you've put it out there, like so I think that's class, like it's
I
like
appreciate it. I try to pass on what's been given, you know.
yeah, because like they say, sometimes they say you can only keep what you have,
That's
brother.
right.
Giving it
You
away.
don't want to take you with you.
And yeah, so that's great. That's great, man. And it's it's so wonderful. I'm still feeling the energy. I see you smiling. I've always called you the smiling assassin.
Yeah, this makes me more happy again. I'm more happy because of this.
And I'm always smiling too. So I guess that that label fits me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, man. So what's next?
So what's next? So it doesn't stop here this season. So I mentioned Island Games. I'm going there again this summer. So that's going to be over there in Orkney, which is just off of Scotland.
Okay.
So we'll be going.
I never heard of that.
Up until now, I hadn't either. But yeah, I'll be doing that. I'll be doing the 10,000 meters and the half marathon once again. And I think, on this course for May 24th, I mean, time kind of goes out the window. You really just want to race for the win. I think for that, we'll really be shooting for a fast time, maybe something close to under hour 10, and hopefully being in medal condition there too.
And what are your fastest times on the both May 24th courses?
Yeah, so going back to 2011, I would have run my actual fastest time of any of the courses. I ran a 112, I believe, 50 or so like that back in 2011. And this year was my fastest on the St. George's course. So yeah, 114.30.
So yeah, double reason.
Yeah,
Double delight.
yeah, yeah,
I heard some of the commentary at one point.
yeah.
I think this was when you and Ryan may have broken away.
Okay.
And they said you covered was it a sub 6 mile? I think, or you ran one of the splits was like 6 minutes.
Okay. Oh yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
and when I heard that, like I'm like, wow, because it takes me a little much more to do 1 mile.
Right. So actually, the average that I would average for the whole thing was 5 minutes 40 seconds per mile. So I think early on we may have covered one a bit closer to 6, but yeah, I think the fastest one I had was 5:20. So the average, yeah, 5:40.
It's a 2-to-1 to me.
Oh man, oh man.
That certainly puts things in perspective.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
And that's what I really appreciate, because when you really see the pace you guys are able
Mm-hmm.
to achieve, it's really sobering. It's amazing. It's like, wow, like you can really do that.
Yeah.
And of course, there's people that go faster.
Yeah. Oh my
get to
goodness.
Olympic level,
Guys, that
et
level,
cetera, et cetera.
4 minutes 30 seconds per mile for a full marathon, like the 26 mile.
Have you ever done a full one?
So I have, yeah, I did, like I said, New York last
New York.
fall, and we ran like 6 minute pace the whole way, ran like 2 hours 40, and I was, I think, 200 and something place. So that puts it into perspective. You know, you could be the big fish in a small pond. Here you go out there, and it really shows you what's out there. And I ran one here one time in 240.
And out there in New York, I mean, you're talking about how many? How many in the
It
field?
was probably 50,000 this year, I think. They
Biggest
said the
population. I mean,
biggest field they've ever assembled. Yes, it was crazy.
yeah, and 200. There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing. You're representing the
Yeah,
football.
yeah. Hey, man. Yeah. Hey.
All right. So, any other plans? You said, when you finish
Hmm.
the your, I would say, the half marathon.
Hmm.
Is there any plans to maybe pursue the full later on, like Ironman
Oh wow,
or
Iron
the
Man.
fourth into triathlon or something?
I don't think triathlon is for me, to be honest. I could swim, but I'm probably more just flopping around in the water, to be honest. I might be all right at biking, but yeah, I think just in the road running side of things, probably a bit more marathon. I'd like to get a bit faster in that. I'd like to get in the 230s, maybe even 220s in that. I definitely still want to see what's there for me in the half marathon. There's still like just to see if I can get a few more maybe wins here and see how fast we can go. I think that would be the next step as well.
What's your age now?
I'm 35.
Okay.
So I know that they say you could in some instances extend your peak performance to your 40s in some instances. So I'm curious to see how far we could take it, right?
All right. So you're certainly inspired.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. You got that first taste now. You're like,
Yeah,
I
I
want
mean,
more of this.
I always said I was gonna probably go into my 40s with it, but I think now I think I'll take that even more so.
And Kevin, of course, cycles.
Mhm. Mhm.
He
Oh,
did this.
he
He
does a
did the
lot of
cycle this
cycling.
year.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you will come up against him on the bike one day. Who knows?
So yeah, we'll have to see what comes.
Wow. And of course, he can still run.
Yes, he can.
Yeah.
He definitely
I
can.
spoke to him the day before the race, and maybe actually it was 2 days before the race, and I asked him, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I said, are you doing the half marathon this year?" And
Mhm.
he's like, "I'm not sure. The deadline is not to tomorrow,
Yeah.
6 o'clock,
Yeah.
whatever the case was." And he's like, "I'll decide by then. When I do the bike race, or the run." And he ended up doing the bike race,
Right. Yeah.
and it was funny because when I got to the finish line,
Yeah.
his
He was.
his sister was there,
Oh shoot.
Pam, and the first thing she says to me, like, where's the bikes?
Yes.
So she was really looking out for brother, and I was like, well, they're not broadcasting the bikes. They got the race
Yeah.
on. Like, yeah, yeah. So and it was nice to see them there. They honored his father in
Yes.
the junior race, because
Yeah, that's
obviously he
right.
was
I
the
saw that.
co-founder of that,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
helped to
Big influence.
mentor a lot of
He
our
sure did.
runners, and even our Olympic champion, Flora
Yeah.
Duffy, Dan Flora Duffy.
That's right. Yeah. He's had a huge
Amazing.
influence.
And they actually had family there. So Pam was representing
Okay.
his family on the actual day.
Man,
So it was
sorry
nice
I
to
missed
see.
it. Yeah.
But no, you
Yeah.
you had your head down.
Okay.
You had some business to
Yeah.
tend to.
I will say Kevin was actually one of the first people to congratulate me at that finish line. He was there and he like picked me up off the ground, man. He was so happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's all of you guys are
Mm,
amazing in my book.
thanks.
All of you, no matter if you've won one or several,
Mhm.
you know, just to finish the race really
Right.
is a feat within itself. If I ever, I would like, I'm a knock on wood. I want to do the race. I
Okay.
wanted to do it last year. Unfortunately, health reasons
Sure. Yeah.
ruled me out. Health issues ruled me out. This year, same thing. I got injured in February, injured my thigh.
Mm.
And then there's still not a guarantee because I do work that day.
If you get the day off.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe, hopefully, next year. We don't know.
It's definitely a race everybody has to experience at some point or the other. I think like it's second to none. Like you gotta be immersed in that. It's the crowd support is unreal, and just seeing and taking it all in as much as you can while you're running is something to go. Oh,
So what did you do after the race? When you
yeah,
away from the spectators and everything,
yeah, yeah.
you got in your little space. How did you celebrate it?
Yeah, we spent it with family. So as you would have seen at the finish, I have two young kids and my wife, and we went and spent it with my family. Just kind of quietly spent it, just taking it all in. People were calling me for the rest of the day and sending me messages. So I was honestly just answering calls and messages the rest of the day, and it really made it
You say you got two kids,
I got two
boy,
kids.
girl.
So I got a boy, he's 5, and a
Yeah.
daughter who's 2. So they keep me very busy as well. Thank you.
Congratulations. And is he got any interest in running?
He definitely does.
All right.
I try not to push him into it too much, but I know he definitely takes inspiration seeing me do it, and he tries to emulate me in different little things. So I encourage it as much as I can.
That must make you real
Yeah.
proud. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And so you just
Yeah, spent it with the family, nice and quiet.
took it in stride.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Stay grounded. That's one thing I like. You're grounded.
Yeah, I don't want to get out there doing any crazy celebrations or anything. Just humbly take it all in and wait.
But that's you, man.
Yeah.
That's your nature, man. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm so happy for you, Sean. I really am, man. And like I said, it was a special moment. And I mean, I could just imagine what it was like, coming up this last
Yeah.
maybe the last mile, half
Yeah.
mile, the crowd on Cedar Avenue, and everybody's like realizing.
Yeah. Oh man, Cedar
I just
Avenue.
imagine what it was like.
The energy on Cedar Avenue. I mean, the rest of the race is something, but Cedar Avenue is like it's a deafening roar of just people, and they were calling my name, so it was like wow, like I hear my name being shouted. The air horns were almost a constant. And I will say, coming down Dutton, I actually started to feel the effects of it all just a bit. Like my body, I caught a bit of a cramp in my foot coming up that last hill, but when I made that turn and I saw no one was there, I was thankfully able to just cruise it in a bit. And
That might have been concerning.
I was a bit concerned. I was thinking, oh man, what's going on right now? But no, let's just relax and enjoy it. Let's relax and enjoy it.
Wow, yeah, you don't want to get that far and
No,
wait, oh no,
nothing
like,
happened.
wait,
Yeah,
this
we were
can't be
basically there now, so yeah.
Wow. So was you nervous, like those last few paces, like because it's like
Yeah,
I got
no,
so many
yeah.
races. Please, this meeting one.
Yeah. I've had a few races where I got caught late, and those things always stayed in the back of my mind. Like I think I thought back to like 2011. I came third that year. That was the first real big one I did, and Lamont caught me on a finishing sprint coming down Dutton Avenue that year. Like I literally got passed right at the line, and I was like, "Don't let something like that happen again." And so yeah, I was just grinding. I mean, kind of running scared a bit until that final corner, and that's when I really began to enjoy it.
Speaking of Lamont, I saw that he had posted.
Mm-hmm.
He had given his congratulations to you.
Yeah.
I thought that was great
That was
sportsmanship
nice,
as
yeah.
well. And it is a family, isn't it?
It is.
You guys are rivals, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of camaraderie.
Yeah.
And you are a community among yourselves.
It's right, yeah. And I thought it was really special. I mean, you saw Ryan come over at the finish, and he said if anyone deserved it, it was you. I mean, you had like his parents came over and congratulated me. They were one of the first, and even Lamont's parents came over and congratulated me. I mean, that's not something you really see in other sports. Your quote unquote rivals and people in their corner coming and giving you well wishes. I mean, that's special. I mean, I thought that was nice. Really nice.
And you know what? I think also going back to one of the topics we discussed earlier is just the release of energy, that positive feel good factor once you secured the title. The community has been through a lot here lately. You know what I mean? And sports just has a way of breaking through, and shedding light on the dark area.
That's right.
And to me, my interpretation, that's what happened, with your achievement.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
You just and you because you saw the response of the community. This wasn't just another win.
Okay.
It was something extra in that, and I really feel that in my heart.
Okay. Yeah.
That you brought light.
Okay.
Through your achievement, through your what to say, sweat,
yeah,
and sacrifice, and all these times and energy and et cetera, et cetera.
That's always been my goal. Like I knew it's not just about the performance, right? Like how can I benefit other people through this? So like that's always something I've tried to do. Like how can I use my running for something bigger than myself. And so the last few years, I've used like I've run for various charities. I've helped to support Word of Life Bermuda, one of the local missions organizations that works with children, teenagers, and helps to show them the gospel of Christ. And even just I like to try and be out there and help to support young people that are trying to be in running and come up into it. So I've never been like, okay, this is just my thing, let me soak up and get as many wins as I can and be all about myself. I know I do it for a higher purpose, right? I do it for God. So I'm always trying to use that light that He's given me to shine His message to the world.
And so it's not like you said, it's not about, you know, getting on the podium.
Mm.
It's not about winning. There's a bigger purpose here.
Right, yeah, it's always been for that purpose. So knowing that that was what happened, and even hearing others, so many people tell me that that happened, I just say, "All glory to God." And,
I agree.
yeah,
To God be the glory.
yeah, exactly, man.
So, what advice would you give to our up and coming youngsters?
Oh man, like not everything is gonna be rapid. It's not gonna all happen at the time you might think it's gonna happen. Like I think just talking to some young people, they try to get that instant result. They think maybe if I run, I'll get that win right away. But it takes years and it takes a lot of dedication to it. And all the miles you do, they bank up, they store up, and at some point, even if you might see the result this year, another year could happen. You just got to stay consistent. Stick to the wicked. The runs come.
I knew you had a little cricket in you.
Yeah, yeah. I used to
You know,
play
Trott, you know,
it.
Trott is a name that's synonymous with cricket, you know.
Yeah, just gotta stay at it. Just stay at it, and always, if you have a goal, never stop believing that it's possible, even when others may stop. You always gotta know what you want to achieve, and really, go after that. Never stop believing.
That passion.
Yeah, the passion, yeah, for sure.
Well, certainly you are the epitome of that,
Um,
of that philosophy. You certainly epitomize that. And again, it's just so wonderful, man.
hmm
And again, I want to congratulate you. We're just gonna wind up a bit here, but
Okay.
before we go, is there any other thing you want to say to the public, of you and audience?
Oh man, I guess want to just thank everybody that came out and supported, everybody that's sent me messages and wished me well. Like I really feel the love. It's been really special. And this it continues to be special days later. I think we're 4 days later, and it's still things are still rolling out. So yeah, thank you everybody for the support you've given.
You certainly deserve it. You certainly put in the work, and we're all excited for you. And we just want to wish you the best
Thanks again,
in your
Calvin.
future endeavors. Thank you for dropping by. I
Appreciate
know
it.
you're a busy man.
Of course.
And I want to thank you also, the viewing public, for taking the time out to tune in. And I hope you've enjoyed it just as much as I have. And I just want to also just want to thank our co-producers, our sponsors, and again, thank you, the public, um, for tuning in. And we look forward to seeing you again real soon, right here on Up Close with yours truly, Colin Thompson.